everybody. Welcome to the Sinister Porpoise after party. Come on in if you dare. Chat with us about music and harmonica. Okay, Sinister, go ahead. Do your thing.
Never get that part right.
Yeah, I could never play like that. You know, I started off like that with the straight notes and stuff, and I was playing Irish tunes when I was, I think it was like the first grade or something. Very, very good. Well done. I had to think for a second. How does that go again?
I always screw up the one part of it, though. So, well, I put links out there. I could put it out on Twitter, but honestly, putting StreamYard's links out on Twitter is kind of dangerous. Because you never know who's going to come in. Let me just put my XSplit down.
Right. I think I can, well, let's see. Oh. Huh. Okay. Yeah, we got a few. Oh, go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How often do most? I was going to say I really don't see a lot of professional harmonica players doing the single note thing. It seems to be more of someone's learning how to do it thing, but I have to wonder if that's just because they want something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just reading that off the tab. I was going to say, the first time I heard that song, or what it was supposed to be.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about tabs.
Was a Mormon hymn, and then I heard it years later. It's like on a bagpipe band, but I'm like, why are they playing the Mormon hymn? And then it turned out it's like, oh, the Mormons borrowed the tune to Scotland the Brave. I don't no longer Mormon, but...
Ouch, that's too hot. I got lemon ginger now. I'm going to play a little bit of something to a backing track, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Well, certainly better than anything I can play. There we go.
Let me... I got some new... I got like 100 backing tracks here.
Governor Whitmer wants Line 5 shut down with no
Don't
plan
care
to
what
replace
Governor
the
Whitmer
essential
wants to
energy
do.
it delivers. Fixed income fat.
Skip ads. This is in A minor.
Are you live on your channel?
What's that?
Oh, there you are.
Okay, I'm not going to bore everybody for the whole show here. Let's get some folks in and saying hi. Chat with us a little bit.
All right. Well, I was gonna say if they're probably one thing they've been wanting to hear from me that they shouldn't want if they follow me. I don't know why people find this so amusing, but all right, that's enough of that.
Oh, stuff like that is always fun, you know. Those old shows like that are so cartoonish, you know. And then when you play them in real life and shit, it's like, yeah, show tunes. My cousin worked for a dinner theater once, and they had all kinds of show tunes they were playing, and they had 100 of them, and I got every one except for one, and it was the Bugs Bunny cartoons and stuff. It was
Oh, the
I
merry-go-round.
put on. Yeah, it was. I wrote down Looney Tunes, and they said very close. It was Merry Melodies was the actual music portion of it. So, oh crap! So they got me up on stage anyways, and they did a whole skit around me. It was just funnier than hell. It was a great time.
I say I think something different when I hear show tunes than the theme songs. I mean, I think like obviously you wouldn't want to do Les Mis on a harmonica, but I imagine some Avenue Q stuff could translate well. Like, what do you do with BA in English?
There's here's something. See if you can recognize this one. Anybody in the chat too? Put down what you think it is.
Oh, I know which one it is. Oh, my grandfathers loved that show.
Oh, it's hard to play. Yeah, it was. It was great. Yep. Godless Sewing, you got it. Sanford and Son. The song is actually called Street Beater, and it takes 3 harmonicas to play it, and that's just not the bass harmonica. That's so that means 4. So 3 harmonicas plus 1 bass harmonica at the beginning.
Now I just remembered a MASH episode where Klinger has to track down a specific harmonica. I don't know why I just remembered that.
Oh, really? I
don't
remember that one.
I don't know if that's
they had
part
that guy tracking down a lot of stuff.
Well, once they had him stop cross-dressing to get out of the army, that's what he did. And, you know, how...
Godless Sewing, you want to come in?
Yes, please.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sinister.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, it's like, please come in. Don't let me talk the whole time. I was going to say, yeah. I was just going to make some point. I mean, honestly, I know people will say it's like transphobic that Klinger was cross-dressing now, but he was just doing it to get out of the army. Those were the army's rules at the time. Let it go.
Right.
They weren't right then, but...
Yeah, times have changed.
Sure,
People
come
are
on in.
getting enlightened a little more. Um, yeah, I think I might have a contest for us bald guys. I might have a shine off. I can't win it tonight because I didn't shave my head real close. So, it's not going to be as shiny. But I think it'd be funnier than hell to get a whole bunch of bald guys on here having a shine off and having
Bring your ukulele.
yeah, something. I just want to do some stuff, and I really wanted to throw out, my appreciation video too earlier for my subscribers and anybody viewing. Basically, the contest I'm going to have with the Seidel harmonica, giving it away. So if anybody wants to go back to that video, leave a comment or whatever, and I'll just find some random person tomorrow at the store, make a video, however many numbers I count down, whatever number they guess, then we'll count together in the video how many they are. That way everybody can see how fair and square it is, and then I will, once you give me your email or your mailing address or whatever, I will mail it to you. Don't worry, it'll be cleaned up first. I'll soap and water the shit out of it. I only played it like twice, and Spooky Bed Hair wants to win it really bad. We're gonna put as many comments in there as possible to increase the chances. One per person, one count per person. So you know.
You can buy them if you select your own.
Yeah.
I mean, Guitar Center, if there's one near you, probably has one. The one in town here closed down. And I think it was a paperwork error that closed the calls.
Oh. Yeah, you can get them on Musician's Friend too.
Yeah, I've actually tried to set up for my viewers like a harmonica, just like a affiliate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Shadow Kitty.
Oh, Mr. Shadow Kitty. Awesome. It is a blues bender, Mr. Shadow Kitty, so it's not Brendan Powers tuned harmonica. So it's got a lot of the reeds flipped over, and so it's opposite of what it's supposed to be. There's like 3 minors in it. So, but it's really cool. You can bend the upper octave without hardly even trying, on the draw note instead of the blow.
But keep in mind, bending does.
I'll talk to you about it.
But harmonica lessons.
Yeah, it does.
Harmonica lessons would only improve my ability
They
to
would
play.
what?
I was going to say, harmonica lessons would only improve my ability to play.
Me too. Like I said, I'm still taking lessons. When I can afford it. I got the number 2 harmonica player on the planet teaching me right now. And I got to get some money built up so I can get my Skype on and pay him and then just get it done and over with and say, okay, let's go. Let's do it.
Might even be possible if it weren't for the
pandemic.
pandemic.
Godless sewing.
How's it going?
Hasta luego.
Possible for what?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you and see you.
Perfect. I've been having microphone malfunctions lately, so it's like hit or miss when I click in what's going to happen.
At least you're not in a really echoey
They had a
room.
cricket in the house too.
You know, I've been holding on to this quality microphone I got a while ago, and I didn't realize how quality it was until other people heard the crickets in my house. My house is infested with crickets.
You may want to turn the gain down a bit.
Oh boy.
Am I loud still? How about this? Right there.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think you may want to turn the gain on the microphone down a bit. And maybe
Yeah. It's one of those things. It was so fancy, I had no idea what I was doing.
I'm not sure I'm correct about that because that's not the IT I do.
I think it was like the first broadcast quality microphone I've had, and when I finally got all my, I got everything aligned, I plugged it in, it picked up everything in this room. You could hear the car driving down the street past my house. It was the first, so I'm gonna figure out a way to get it going, but get it to where the crickets aren't chirping. They're not even melodic either.
just at random chirp. Yeah.
I have the most random harmonicas here. I have a
really?
blues harp.
See, everybody's got them.
This is a classic.
Yeah.
I play the banjo. So harmonica for me I call it picking and grinning. That's more of a banjo term. I just make noise. But I have a horner though. I have this one as well. Whoops. Oh, that's
Marine band.
Beautiful. Yep. Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Can you play?
No, and after hearing both of you, I'm not even going to embarrass myself. Sinister Porpoise,
I do
I can't hear
lessons
you.
too.
I was gonna say you can't do worse than I did.
You did great. I 3 years ago, I really stunk at the banjo, and then just one day I just stuck with it, and I kept going and going, and I sound decent now. When I heard you right now, I could actually make out what you were playing.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
One of these days, when I get more money, I'll take lessons for the mandolin if I don't get rid of it.
It's my banjo. It's one of those things. Like I got a 6-string banjo because it's like an acoustic with the bottom 4 strings are banjo strings. Oh. And then I got a traditional 4-string banjo, and it's one of those things. I love bluegrass music.
Is the banjo 5-string?
I have a 4-string, and I have a 6-string.
Yeah, I thought the traditional banjo was 5-string though.
I need to look that up.
And I know Steve Martin is a devotee of the instrument.
Absolutely.
Although in one of his movies, he destroys the city I live in now with a Nazi cheese ball at the end.
Where do you live, if you don't mind me asking?
If you watch the movie Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, you'll get the mention very briefly just at the end.
Okay. I will actually add that to the list.
Because the Nazi's like,
oh great, now he's making us homework. She.
Yeah, there's
I apologize.
4-string, 5-string.
Oh, okay.
My 6-string is more of a it's more of a hybrid, and it's somebody said, let's see what happens when we put these together. And it's the funniest instrument because the top 2 strings are tuned to acoustic, but it's on a banjo. It's on a banjo head, and the bottom 4 are banjo strings.
I was gonna say my mandolin has 8 strings right now, but it should be 2 each. Should be 2 strings tuned to the same tune for each one, but they're not.
My pops was a bit of a hillbilly, so when I got a banjo, he had to get one too, and it was one of those things. I thought I was great, and then I quit drinking, and I wasn't as good as I thought I was. So I had to go and actually take lessons.
Yep.
I thought I was the best. Then I sobered up and was like, "Oh, I'm not that good at all."
Alcohol magnifying the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah. Oh wow. I used to. I
think
would
we've
drink
all been
whiskey
through
too. I used to drink moonshine.
Mhm.
Moonshine. It made me think that I could fight. It made all kinds of stuff. If they allowed Slayer and moonshine in the UFC, I'd be champ, or at least on the floor.
Well, at least it's more real than professional wrestling.
Oh boy.
I grew up with absolute love for professional wrestling. I liked the theater behind it. I grew up watching like Days of Our Lives with my mom. I love soap operas. So I loved the drama and all the theater behind wrestling. So even though I knew it was fake, I loved the show behind it,
I don't really care
I
for
always
it.
had to
but hey.
record the Young and the Restless for my aunt.
It was one of those things.
Yeah.
It was so weird. I grew up watching that, and when I was older, I watched a show called Passions. And when I worked in North Hollywood, I met the entire crew. It was weird. They were actual real people with real lives, not just these dramatic people on television. Good time.
They didn't stare off into space after they said a sentence, did they?
No, and not everything had a dramatic pause either.
Why am I thinking of Futurama?
I love it. I feel like I woke up in like the dark future sometimes. I identify with Fry sometimes.
Yeah, I got to show you guys something. Now, this was given to me in North Carolina. I can't put it on now. These damn things.
Yes,
Anyways, it's a neck brace for. I got that from
I actually
Bob
want one
Steel
of those.
Band, North Carolina.
What are those
This
called?
this is for an old honer, just neck braces, harmonica neck braces,
Oh,
or
those are
holders or something. And this one, you can see it's really not. But yeah, this one you can get the bigger ones in there and all kinds of stuff. But man, this spring is really. But this one was given to me by Eric Clapton's rhythm guitar player, and just before we got drunk and started telling dirty jokes and stuff. But yeah, I opened up for a lot of guys like that. And I got drunk with a lot of guys like that, and gals, and everyone in between.
Yeah,
But,
I wish I could travel more.
I'm no longer. I'm sorry.
I wish I could travel more. But travel costs money.
I used to do a lot of traveling pre-COVID. My ex-wife would pick up my son on the weekends, and I would always it started going to Vegas, but then I would go as north as I could, before Saturday afternoon, and then have to turn around. It was just good to get out of the house. But now with COVID, everything's closed. There's nowhere to go.
Well, were you on the edge of the desert just outside of Barstow
Right.
when the drugs began to kick in?
Close enough. I love that book. I love that book and the movie. No, I have a strict policy of not drugging or drinking and driving. I'm a bad sober. I'm a bad driver sober, and I'll totally admit that.
Yeah, self-driving cars will be a benefit for some of us who don't pay attention on the road.
I'm one of those people. I wish we had a more efficient mode of transport besides cars.
I love the teleporter, but
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Some of us would wind up in the girls' locker room.
I've
too
been
often, and that's just a shame.
I've been going back and watching a lot of old shows from the 90s, and I've been watching Earth Final Conflict, and they have this it's like this it's a teleporter, but they call it something else. But basically, you walk into it and you end up across the country. I wouldn't mind one of those.
I wouldn't even mind like a high-speed train.
Oh, yeah.
Like they have in China.
They tried that here in California, and it was a massive failure. Massive.
Well, the thing is, they have to be like long enough distances between where you want to go to make it worth it.
They were trying to make, basically from San Francisco to Los Angeles, you have to get on a bus. You can take a train, but you have to basically get on a bus to go over the mountains. And so they were going to make a maglev train through the mountains, but it just became this multi-billion-dollar failure that wasted billions of taxpayer dollar. But we have one cool track running through the Central Valley of California.
I'm sure Elon Musk will come up with something to do with it that makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. His battery, like his home efficient battery packs, are awesome because you can take them and power your house. So those are awesome. There's other things that are a bit over ambitious.
Well, some things are just recycled bad ideas from previous people.
Exactly. Sometimes I don't know.
It's from my band director.
Sometimes I feel like Elon Musk is like, I like a lot of his ideas, and some of his other ideas, I'm like, that guy's gonna blow up my house if I bought that. I don't know.
He's the world's biggest welfare.
Yeah, but his personality makes him a real dill whacker.
That's why I stay away from him on Twitter. I stay away from a lot of people because I don't want to know. I like their products. I don't want to know who they are because it will ruin it for me.
Well, at least with the MyPillow guy, you can't follow him on Twitter anymore.
Oh, the MyPillow. No, see that's a little bit different. At least I know he hates me for existing. At least I know the MyPillow. At least I know where the MyPillow guy stands.
Yeah.
When I see someone like wearing a 45 hat or a Trump,
I got a couple of the pillows.
That doesn't. Wait. I was gonna say.
Oh, you froze up. There we go.
Just because someone's a Trumpster fire doesn't mean they necessarily hate me for what I am. A lot of them do, but a lot of them.
No, I agree. I live in a neighborhood where it's like 30-70. 30% of them are excellent people.
Problem is they just supported someone who shouldn't have been allowed anywhere near the White House.
I agree. Absolutely.
Anyway, let's not get off track.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I was about to go off. It's been a while since I've been afraid of a public official. Like, wow, that person actually could do some damage. So I'm glad that's over for now.
Well, I'm sure
Sorry,
I hope he takes up the harmonica after he's out of office. That will be something better for him.
Who's that again? I missed.
Whoever we were talking about.
The new name that shall not be spoken.
Yeah.
You know what? Picking up the banjo actually, because I sew, so I already, when I have time to myself, I'm usually sewing something. But picking up the banjo was definitely one of those nervous habits, especially during like being locked in the house. I could always like go in the backyard and play my banjo, and I have an acoustic guitar that I play badly as well. Just a good escape.
Yeah, it is. Music is just something that I don't know. If you can play well, it's just something that's part of you. And I have a little saying, that I put on harmonica formats and stuff. Like, yes, we have formats and everything, and big old pages. That they coined my phrase of. What's it like to be, a musician or, especially the harmonica man. And it's like, well, it's pretty much all the emotions that you have throughout your entire life. All the heartache, all the joy, all the deception and trust and everything all balled up into one teeny tiny finite little moment. And then it's just like blowing out cigarette smoke or something. Whoosh. All those feelings come out at once, and you hit that one note or that one phrasing or song or whatever, and then you connect to somebody in the audience, and they feel what you feel. And if you're into music for anything less than that, get the fuck off my stage. You don't belong there.
That's the one thing I learned from my pops, because he came from Savannah, Georgia, and he taught me a lot of Gut Bucket and a lot of songs that were passed down word of mouth. And he would always tell me, like, if you don't feel it, don't sing it. If you don't feel it, don't sing it. If it's not in you, don't, So I completely understand what you're saying.
But I think there's a variant of that that's true for every type of art that you do.
Oh, absolutely.
I
mean, it is.
That's one of the reasons I clicked on here, because I was about to start sewing, and I'm like, I don't feel it right now. I'm not going to force myself, because it's something I love to do. I don't want to turn it into a chore.
I just finished an indie game not too long ago, and I'm like, I don't really like this. But I had a lot of fun creating like the snarky little like JRPG.
Exactly.
Because one, it's my sense of humor anyway. Or so people tell me. I don't know why they think I'm sarcastic and snarky.
Sometimes I say things straight-faced and people don't know I'm joking. So I have to like preface sometimes. Because I catch people off guard, because I'll say something like, oh, I got a restraining order on him, or, oh yeah, he can't come around my house anymore, or he stalked me, and people are like, I get weird looks from people,
Okay, let's clear something up that's not good debate among other circles I travel in. Is a temporary restraining order still a restraining order?
Yes.
Okay. We're not going to go any more than that.
Well, it's a quick synopsis. Like, you could go to a judge that day and say, I'm in fear for my life. This person is, going to harm me. So the judge puts a temporary restraining order on. Then that person has their day in court after that.
If you want more information, ask me later, and I'll explain.
Okay. No, I actually.
The last judge I saw. The last judge I saw basically told me, "Hey, are you sure you want to go to jail because you're being funny and sarcastic?" And I'm like, "No."
Okay, so I laughed in front of in divorce court. I laughed, and the judge basically kicked me out of the courtroom. I learned she was very power happy, and like, I don't know. I try to take personal responsibility, so I won't say it's because of my gender or because of other things. She just didn't like my face. She just didn't like my face. And she eventually told me, even though I got everything I wanted in court, she eventually told me, I just don't like your face.
I haven't spent a lot of time in court.
Oh, boy.
The last time I spent any time in a court.
Yeah, they're definitely biased when they're not supposed to be.
Well, it was divorce court, and like, I think it's like I said, I don't like to generalize. I think my case kind of caught her off guard, and so there was nothing else she could say to me except for, I don't like your face.
It was the city courtroom, and it's just where the city council held their meetings.
Oh, awesome!
Because as former journalist, you have to go in and cover really boring like town meetings.
Is there ever, like, in a town meeting, does anyone ever stand up and expose people or say, like, tell the town's business or anything? Or is it just dry stuff?
Usually it's dry. Sometimes there'll be some controversy, and sometimes locally there was just one politician that just, as a reporter, it's like, this is dry stuff. I want to get out of here. Go ahead.
Do you guys remember a couple of years ago when that small town had the bigoted mayor, and he was saying hate stuff on what's that, Facebook?
You mean a few days ago in
And
Texas?
some people caught him doing it.
Oh, that was Twitter.
No, this was in Michigan. That's my hometown. He was spreading hateful stuff and talking about killing Muslims and stuff like that. And then he actually had like a Michigan militia in front of his hotel that he owned. And they were, and they were all right wingers and they were all dressed up, And it's like, you beer bellied fools aren't no soldiers. Go home, drink your beer, shut up. And people on the left were on the other side of the street, and both of them were chanting USA, USA, and pointing at each other. Nothing actually happened. And it's like, this is stupid. And
That's Westboro
so then
Baptist
they had a town
Church.
meeting after that. Oh, go ahead. Tell us about.
Oh no, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Well, they had it written up in the paper. It actually made national news, and they oh geez, I lost my train of thought. Anyways, they had a town meeting, and they had police there and everything, saying okay, no outbursts and all that stuff. So they settled it real quick, and then he just lost his job, and they just had another mayor move in.
Did he ever run? Did he ever run for office again?
No, he's not allowed to.
Okay, that's the important part of the story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, back to where I was, there was just this one politician who would not shut up. So it's like this. There were meetings that should have taken like 15 minutes long and just stuck there for 2 hours.
Oh, that's my middle name. This should have been in an email. People look at me in pointless meetings, and I'm like, I won't say it. I speak up real quick in pointless meetings. Like, you could have texted me. I don't know.
I came all the way here for this.
Well, see, everything changed in the COVID era. In the COVID era, we've all I can do meetings from the house now, But before, because I was on call, I would get to the property at my job and be like, "This is why you called me. I drove all the way over here for this." So it's been a year, and I'm kind of celebrating sitting at being here for a year. I didn't think I would make it this long.
Yeah, it has been about a year.
My son has
20 videos.
Oh wow.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say my son. The only reason I know it's been a year is because my son has officially been out of school for an entire 365 days, physically not on campus. And I just noticed it. The other day, and I was like, "Wow, we've come full circle."
Wait, they have schools fully closed where you were?
Yep.
Yeah, everything is like learn at home, and they're trying to incorporate my son's special needs, and so they got sued for discrimination for not bringing the special needs children back. But I don't want my son to be back. Like, I don't know. COVID has kind of exposed how inept the school system is, and people just don't know what they're doing. I won't go into it too deep, but like, this has really made me review the people I allowed to educate my child. So we're looking into alternative schooling now.
All right.
But I don't know. I guess I took
schools are partially open.
My videos. I got 20 more to go, and then I'm at 200. So I'll probably have a celebration.
Awesome
party when that happens. So in a couple of weeks. So yeah, it has been 1 year. I was looking through, and I like 1 year ago is when I first started not just watching other people's stuff, actually making my own. And I'm like, wow, it's been a whole year since I've been stuck home.
That's the point where I've
okay.
just reached.
I'm okay with myself because I'm sexy.
How did you
I'm not as shiny today because I didn't shave. It's my lighting. I'm just bald in general.
Me too.
How did you encounter Scientist Mel?
How did I?
Actually, Harmonica Man, but
Harmonica Man.
or both. I don't care.
Oh, mine was the YouTube algorithm.
I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering how you encountered Scientist Mel.
Oh, just through the atheist community. And yeah, I'm like, wow, that well, I like science stuff, anyways. So I'm like, and I'm gonna check this person out. And well, and I have a thing for redheads, and to me, she's just smoking hot. But the brains is what gets me. I saw her on her like karaoke night and stuff, and she was joking around with everybody. I'm like, wow, this is just a fantastic person. She really is, inside and out. And then then she's smarter than me too. So I'm crushing on her big time. She knows that, but I won't stalk her. I already promised I'm not going to stalk her.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome. Hey, you never know. I told Jen I had a crush on her, and here we are.
Yep.
You never know.
Producing a show together.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have a crush on. Well, I don't know. Can't say that I never would, but I don't think I have a crush on anyone who comes to my stream. So.
YouTube is funny because you watch people. There's been quite a few people that I've met, and I'm like, wow, that person is amazing. And there's other people I've met, and I'm like, that person is a complete a-hole. Like, they are so pretentious, and we're all on YouTube sitting on our crappy Wi-Fi at home. It's not like we're sitting in NBC studios or some $1 billion setup. So
it's like, get over yourself. You're not that important.
Recently, there's one person who trolled me for being bisexual, and I was kind of disappointed. They were kind of just cavemanish about it. And then there was somebody else I met that I just wasn't too impressed with. I just was like, wow. But I call it it's the LA syndrome. Like, I've met a lot of famous people, and some are really humble, and other are just awful human beings. Awful.
So is this like whenever I even do something on a call for an uprising, which I don't do that often, it's like I get just really transphobic comments, and I'm like, I spell it out for you. It's like, I don't allow this.
And that's the thing. This person trolled me, and I saved it until I got to the DMs, and then I just lost it on them. Because I don't know. I've surrounded myself with accepting people, so I don't even live in that angry-filled, hate-filled world anymore. So when I come across people like that, I'm like, get out of here, like, go away. You're just annoying at this point. Because we can coexist if we just I try to live in peace. I try to, but if you cross me or call me something, I'm going to tell you. It's one of those, it's just.
I get that from time to time in comment sections, but just because there's always comments about, for instance, this one hunter and everything, he was questioning on his channel, about, everybody says that, all the answers are in the Bible, and you all keep telling me this, then why the hell hasn't anything happened yet? And that started up a conversation, and I eloquently, put just a few things, and then I just got kind of bombarded, and this one guy didn't even want to have an intellectual talk about any points. He just said, you don't know anything, you're just he just started calling me names and just all kinds of names, and I'm like, are you sure it's not because you got a horse cock in your mouth? And then I put, see, two can play at this game, motherfucker lips. So then, that's pretty much it.
I've over the years, I've learned to be able to not react when people say horrible things to me. But You know what? Even last what was it? Last Thursday, Jenny and I kind of almost got into a scream fest over something that I kind of agreed with her about. So I've
Oh.
learned I've learned to try to keep some of my opinions to myself. But I grew up in the suburbs, in the integrated society, in where people were, so I have a different view on life than other people who didn't grow up in the area from me. So I have to respectfully learn to let certain subjects just go to other people who care enough to argue about them,
Right. Yeah, I'm starting
Over the
to get
years,
there. I'm starting to mellow out a little bit.
But
over the
she got
years,
my goat. Sorry.
over the years, I've learned not everything I think needs to be said.
You know what, Sinister Porpoise? I need to write that down. Where are my notes? Where are my notes? I work on that
Right.
daily. And that's what happened. I finally got caught. In something that was semi-emotional, and I just shot from the hip. And I was like, "You're not a part of the affected party," and blah 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 blah. Like, it just wasn't me. But I finally jumped off of the handle, and I promised myself I wouldn't do it. But here we are.
Although sometimes if you have a quick wit, some things come out before the brain stops you.
I have that problem too. Sometimes I'll say something extremely rude. I call it with my son I call it my parental Tourette's, because he'll say something and I'm like, what the F? Are you kidding me? Stop that. No, it's like I jump at it when he says something, I jump on it, I have to learn to take a step back and process it. But it's like in me as a parent to just safeguard everything. It'd be like, no, let's just stop all of this and review what we're doing.
Right.
So I just blurted out without even, I shock myself sometimes.
I do that sometimes, but usually it's just funny stuff because everywhere I go, people are just expecting me to tell jokes. And I go to the store and there's this one young lady that I haven't been there in about a week, and she saved up all kinds of jokes on her phone just for when I walked in. And I walked in and she says, "Aha, come here." It's like, okay, I saved these just for us.
That's awesome. I know someone that just recently passed, and they would always ask you, hey, do you want to see a picture of my ex? And then they'd pull out their wallet and it was a card with an X on it. I love jokes like that. I love people that make jokes like that. It makes the world a better place. I love jokes like that all the time.
Love to get
a couple months ago, I called my old boss, and the secretary answered, of course, and I said, "Hey, you ever have a dream that you had sex with a kaleidoscope and then it came in all shapes and sizes?" And she got all embarrassed. "Oh my God, no!" And I'm like, "Well, it must just be me then. Have a nice day." And then I hung up. And then I stopped in about a week later, and the boss came out, and she's like, "Randy, we knew that was you."
I have
you're no longer working there. Because that sounds like a career-ending joke, not a career-terminating joke.
Yeah, we have at my job, we have a list. It's like a page and a half of things we're not allowed to say. Sometimes I feel like they printed it for me. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one that has this list. They had a meeting. They're like,
"Aw, aw, aw."
You know what, though? To be fair, I carry around. It's probably right here. I'll spare you, but I carry around the Ferengi rules of acquisition, and when I get a robocall, I will just start reading it to them. I will just start.
Cool.
War is good for business.
Yeah,
Peace is good for business.
You know, I finally read through all of them, and they go off of each other, you know, and they can't. It's hilarious. I'm an absolute Trekkie. I love Star Trek.
Deep Space Nine was one
Yeah,
of the
I
darker
like that
ones.
too. I like.
Deep Space Nine was, you know, it's strange. It was darker, but it became my favorite show.
It was better written than.
Yeah, exactly. And like the
Now, Deep
Dominion
Space
War.
Nine. That was the last one I saw. Did anything else come out after that? I haven't watched
Well,
TV since
there was
Voyager.
pretty much Deep Space Nine.
Enterprise,
Enterprise,
which
yes.
is almost like Star Trek. Picard is okay, but it's more commentary on American politics than it is.
Absolutely. Picard, I will say, I loved Lower Decks.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's good too.
I loved Lower Decks. Picard was, I don't know, they kind of kicked the crap out of my hero. Picard was my hero. And then to see him, like, I don't want to give the show away, but it just, I liked the show. I liked the show, but like, as a diehard fan, I kind of sat there like, okay. I was just waiting. And I love Discovery. I will fight people over Discovery. I love Discovery.
I don't know why people hate Discovery. It's like
it's also
like it's not Trek, it's Trek. It's like, are you watching the same show I am?
Oh, it's just amazing. And
It's not dark.
The same thing with Doctor Who. A lot of people just went off about the new Doctor Who. I liked it. Some of the stories, you know, were a bit off, but we all forget about all the stories before the Pandorica opened with Matt Smith. You know, David Tennant had a few stinker episodes. I don't know. I'm a sci-fi geek, but being online,
I think everybody does.
I've just never seen so much hatred for like franchises can't stay the same forever, and we're in an era now where, you know, TV from 50, 60 years ago isn't the same as it is now, you know? And so traditionalists are going to get mad. They're going to get mad. And I'm a traditionalist. So even as someone who is, I was like, okay, I'll just see where it goes, you know? And sorry.
I was going to say, everyone loves The Mandalorian, and that's not Star Wars.
Yeah. People, absolutely. I've seen people get in fights over The Mandalorian.
And it's fine. It's like it's.
Isn't that a bag of oranges?
Tasty ones.
Oh, that's a mandarin.
Oh.
Also the Iron Man villain, but and they didn't put him in the Iron Man movies for whatever reason. Well, they did, kind of.
You know, I have a lot of the older comics. There's a few. Did they portray Tony Stark as a total drunk like they did in the comics?
Robert Downey Jr. pretty much is Tony Stark.
In real life, I know.
He was a playboy, but he was a playboy, but he didn't do a whole lot of alcohol. He was more of a workaholic than anything.
I have a in one of my long boxes. There's a cover of Tony Stark just kind of sitting there with his hand on a bottle like this, you know. They're just totally railing in the fact that he was an alkie. But the older comics, they dealt with different issues. God,
well, you know, you can't drink and fly.
It almost made me choke on my coffee. I would rent a pontoon boat, and I learned the hard way that you can't drink and have a pontoon boat at the same time. So drinking and operating vehicles are bad. And what I'm talking about happened 20 years ago. I'm not as brave now.
I used to do stuff like that too a lot.
I stop and think about what I'm going to do now.
Yeah.
Drinking games you invented on stream aren't great ideas either.
Yeah. Oh, wow. There's a few drinking games where I'm like, man, these people would be dead when they're up to like their 23rd drink. Like, I hope they're just shooting, you know,
I
taking
started
shots of
a
water.
drinking game with the Lavender Lady when on her streams, every time she says "Oh my," everybody's supposed to drink. So within a half hour, everybody's toasted.
Yeah, exactly. Complete.
Maybe I should have used something other than Jägermeister.
Being online, I had to stop myself from saying like. I noticed. I said like. I still say like everything, like for everything. I had to stop myself. It was something. I watched the stream and I was like, "Wow, I show where I'm from."
Mm-hmm.
So I corrected myself.
It's hard to do.
I reflect where
Being
I'm from.
Northern Michigan, people try to correct my speech as if I said that, and it's like I didn't say the word milk. It's milk. I didn't say mirror. It's mirror. So just because I come from Michigan does not mean that I speak like I actually went to school. I promise.
I come from Pennsylvania, Dutch country.
Oh, awesome.
So we don't really have that many distinct forms of speech. What we have are bizarre grammar patterns.
Do you speak any form of German at all? Any offshoots? Any Dutch? Any?
Ich spreche nicht sehr gut Deutsch.
I have no idea what you're saying, so I'll take it.
Well, the thing you've got to remember as being the fancy Dutch is that World War I and World War II pretty much kept that dialect from being passed down.
Okay, can totally see that.
Because I guess my father and grandfather never learned to speak it. Although the Amish still do.
On my mom's side, my grandparents were both Spanish, but they were both born in Mexico. And I speak Spanish fluently, but my mom, who grew up in the house with two people that speak Spanish fluently, she does not speak Spanish fluently.
Yes,
she grew up See, I understood that one. She grew up in the 1950s where it was like more about integration, so by the time my generation came around, like I wanted to speak Spanish, so I asked my grandparents.
Well, I learned what Spanish I do know from Duolingo, and I need to get back to that just because it's useful.
And today, I live, in the Southwest, so it's definitely useful down here.
It's useful everywhere now.
And I don't know. I
don't know anything else but American gibberish.
I didn't realize how much American was gibberish until I traveled around when I was in my 20s and went overseas. And you go to certain places and I'm like, okay, that was English, but I have no idea what that person just said right now.
I don't like Indian text.
Oh, definitely.
Indian tech support people.
Oh, yes. Nowadays, I deal with a new issue. They misgender me. And some of it, I feel like they maliciously do it now because I've corrected them.
Some people do.
I've corrected them so many times. And because I have a cell phone and a landline in my name, they'll call both. So I get 9 to 10 calls a day. So I'm kind of over. I don't even pick up anymore. Before I used to like crack jokes to them. I would tell them like, "Oh, you're wasting your life," and then I would get personal. As an atheist, oh God, this is me. I can't believe I'm admitting I'm saying this. I'd always say, "What do you think? Do you think God would approve of you wasting your life like this?" And I caught at least 2 people that sat there and thought about it. They were like, "No," and they hung up the phone on me. And I was like, "Oh shit, that worked." I was raised Catholic, so I always go for the guilt, and it worked.
No.
But I ticked off one person that repeatedly calls me, and they misgendered me to the point where I don't even pick up my landline anymore.
I get misgendered simply because of the way my voice sounds, which I understand.
People, I don't know. It angers me because this particular person goes out of their way, but I've had to just like, it is what it is. They live in a different continent, in a different part of the earth.
Did it cut out?
No, you're still there.
The old world.
I
asked people at when I was at the end of I don't know, like the doctor's office would call or something like that, and the nurse would say, "Is there any more questions?" I'm like, "Yeah, what are you wearing?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, my friend Jake from State Farm wants to know if you're wearing khakis."
So
That would still get you sued.
in California, we're all SJWs, and that would get you sued. No, I would laugh. Like if you said that to me, if you cracked a joke to me, I'd call your bluff and be like, "Where do you live, big boy?" Like I would joke back,
right?
But there's a lot of people that can't take jokes anymore. I've had to learn that here, even. This was a long time ago. My son is a different color than I am. I'm pushing him in a stroller. I have a neighbor who's a sheriff. Well, he didn't tell me that he had a trainee with him one day. And in the early days, I'd walk my son to Starbucks. I'd get my yuppie coffee on the stroller, and I'd walk home. I'd get my athletics in for the day, walking home with my son. And my neighbor pulls up in his cop car, and he's like, "Hey, they'll just let anybody into Starbucks nowadays." And I was like, "Yeah, and they're giving these babies and strollers away for free too." And the trainee jumped out of the car and almost pulled a firearm on me. And my neighbor was like, "Stop! That's my friend! Stop!" Like he did not get my joke. He did not think my joke was funny. He thought I kidnapped a kid. He thought I kid. Oh, my neighbor still laugh. Still to this day, my neighbor, we still laugh about that. And that guy has, he's been on the full force now for 10 years. Every time I see him, he just squints at me, and he still doesn't like me. He still doesn't like me. Oh, that was a good day. That's
awesome.
We still joke about that. But like I said, it's like people can't take jokes anymore. They can't. Some people and I'm sensitive, so I understand. Like I am, so I get it. I get easily offended myself sometimes, so I completely understand. Oh, good times. Good times. But you just got to learn who to be sarcastic to, I guess. Oh, you're muted again, Sinister Porpoise.
Yeah, I was actually moving my chair, so I wanted to be muted, but police officers don't always have a good sense of humor.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I've had to learn that the hard way. There was one time a neighbor pulled up next to me, and I jokingly said, "Oh, you scared me. You made me spill my beer." He still to this day thinks I had a beer. I didn't have a beer. I was just telling a joke. So he always tells me, "Don't drink."
One time by a state trooper. They had a friend with me. We actually just had a half gallon of whiskey that night between the two of us, and there was maybe, I don't know, half-inch left in the bottom, and it was sitting right there on the back seat, just big as life. And then the cop said, "How much?" He said, "Are you drinking?" And I said, "Why? Are you buying?" And luckily, he had a call. In an emergency, he had to take off. He's like, "You're lucky this time. Go home, right straight home." I'm like, "That's where we're going anyway."
Okay, so, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
I've actually got quite a few mulligans like that. For as many horror stories as I could tell about the cops, there's been quite a few where the cops are just like, "All right, go home." On mushrooms, I jumped on a cop car. And the cops, and I'll never forget, the cop sat me down. he was like, "Oh, you are a pile of paperwork. Go home." This was the 90s, though. This was a long time ago. There was a 19 in front of the year.
Well, yeah.
This was a long time ago. But that
It was
cop
a different
nowadays,
time. Doesn't seem like that long ago,
Let's
though.
get along.
Back then, if you were that wasted, they'd walk you home. And nowadays, they'll put you in, they'll take you to jail. You're going, especially when I was a kid, I experimented with mushrooms and amongst other things. They'd put me straight in jail nowadays. If you were a minor in California, or to like rehab.
Wow.
But back then, they just said kids were being
I
kids.
came out of a bar one time. I saw the cops were waiting for me because I was coming out of the karaoke bar, and it was like a month earlier. I, pissed all over their hood and windshield and stuff, so they were all pissed off at me. So they were waiting for me to come out of that bar. They knew that I was in there, and so I just walked out. I was just drunker than crap. I walked across the highway right in the middle of town, and the one rolls his window down and he's like, "What the hell you think you're doing?" And I just opened up the back door, just jumped in the back seat. Said, "What in the hell are you doing, Randy?" And I said, "Well, the lady in there," I said, "call me a cab," and she said, "It's right outside. It's got checkers on it." And I looked over here, and this car's got checkers. I need a ride home. They just laughing their ass off. They actually took me home. Made sure
that's
I was asleep on the couch and shit. They're like, "Yeah, just the local boys, because they knew I'd get drunk and fight and pull stupid crap like that, I was always going to jail."
Apparently I haven't been much tamer.
It's good to have a
harmonica man.
One of the reasons I stopped drinking is because I would wake up on my front lawn or like in some yoga position down the street somewhere, and it's good to have understanding people who know you. There was one time I woke up with those same two people, with those same two cops standing over me. They're like, "Well, at least he's on his own property," and they got in their car and drove off. Because I had passed out on my front lawn. They were just making sure that I was alive. But I appreciate them not taking me to jail.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I used to be able to do stuff like that. Now you can't even talk about it. And then the reason I brought, "Oh yeah, come with us." They'll try to do word games with you all day long until they find something wrong.
Which I thought was illegal, but now, the thing is, you still have the right to self-incriminate yourself in the United States of America. So if you talk enough, you will say a few self-indictments and not even know it, especially if you're drinking. Yeah. So that's what they're banking on, is that you're just going to tell on yourself. It's so sad. I work with an organization that gives clothes to homeless people in jail, but just people that are down and out. But we have an outreach, and like we tell the young kids all the time, like don't tell on yourself, even if you're not doing anything. Like just don't tell on yourself, because it's sad, but the cops do talk in circles. But it's one of those socioeconomic. It's so weird, because like out here, our sheriff's department, it's not that they're racist. They indiscriminately pull over everybody. And so they're putting their kids through college with these tickets. In California, a speeding ticket starts at $1,200.
I'm sure.
And
Holy shit.
That'll put the average person, you'll lose your license. The average person will lose there's a volunteer box on there that says, "Hey, I'll just volunteer to lose my license because I cannot pay this," So it's it's a racket. It's a racket.
Isn't there something against excessive fines in the Constitution?
Yeah, but they're going on the fact that they believe that every person in California makes at least $100,000 a year. which the problem is we have a drop off of people that make 120 and everybody else is making 15 to 20,000 a year. And that's the problem here in LA is that we don't have a middle class anymore. It's either the super rich, the people who are fortunate, and then everybody else.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't have a lot of rich people here in the Midwest. So,
same here.
It's one of those things, like, you can tell what neighborhood you're in by what era the cars are. It's sad. It's sad. California has changed, though, because this place, it used to, it used to be something, and now it's just everybody. It's all infighting, and I was doing
everybody's
research.
leaving too.
Oh, in mass amounts. I'm moving too. I don't think this is a place for where I could raise my son anymore, and that's sad. But when I was doing research for our gun rights show that Jen and I were doing 3 weeks ago now, I was surprised on how many people were suing the state of California because they want to have the right to have some insane weapon here when we've had our laws on the books for over 30 years. But people are suing the state of California because we have mag restrictions. We have all kinds of stuff here.
I'm sure at some point Indiana will ban low capacity magazines.
They're gonna ban.
And yes, I said that correctly.
You saw how long it took my brain to catch up with what you were saying. Oh, that's funny. My 11-year-old son who has ASD, my ex-wife took him to a shooting range last weekend, and he got to shoot an AR-15. He walked in my house, and he's like, "Please buy me an AR-15." I'm like, "We live in the wrong state. Sorry, man. Sorry. If we lived anywhere else, I'd buy you one for your birthday, but we have sensible laws here." Sorry.
They're a better gun for targeting shooting than an AR-15.
I have like a cowboy, like the fun, like I have a Winnie, a 30-30, a 30-06. Like those are fun to me because you have to like line up a target and shoot it. Even a Ruger 10/22 is fun with a clip that's bigger than a 10-round clip. That's the California problem. Because you're at the range, you're constantly pow, 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 then you start over, But it's one of those things. But it's something that he's into, so it's just one of those habits. Like I don't know if it's one of those habits. Like, do you encourage a person who is 10 times smarter than you to? And then he's like in the garage. He's like, "Hey, you have a drill press." I'm like, we're not manufacturing anything yet. Get out of here. I should have.
Hey, I think I'm going to close up here in a second, guys. It's 8:29, and there's some other friends of ours that have live streams too.
Okay.
And looks like unless somebody else wants to join or something, that'd be fine. But I really enjoyed you both here being on the show. Michael King just showed up. Okay,
comment, and subscribe to his channel.
I'm just getting ready to.
Now I gotta go back to I was
Is there anything?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, and then after you do that, and then we'll shill.
I was just gonna rant.
Then I'll close it out.
I was gonna rant about sewing, but Sinister Porpoise, if you want to go first to shill, I have my speech.
Okay. Remember, everyone, be excellent to each other. And as always, so long, and thanks for all the fish. Also, if you want to subscribe to my channel, it's the Sinister Porpoise, or you can download my indie games, Petty Theft Moped Terre Haute Stories, at sinisterporpoise2.itch.io. There's even one there that doesn't need to exist, but if you actually spend $1 for it, I'll give the money to a local animal shelter.
Awesome. I'm Godless Sewing. I just started uploading stuff on the Godless Sewing channel. It's snippets and tidbits of the What the Fuck streams that Jen and I do every Thursday, 7 o'clock West Coast time, 10 o'clock East Coast time. And I'm also going to be doing a podcast with Sam Chaos and our friend Maddie as well. So that it's going to be called Pub Religion. It's going to be a pagan atheist and Christian walk into a bar. Because I don't partake anymore, but I'll go sit and spout, spout my atheistic propaganda. So, as always, wear a mask, be kind, and love someone, something, anyone. Be nice.
Okay, I'm going to mute you guys out now and then do my little end of the show. Okay, everybody, like, share, sub, go to my guests, like, share, sub, all that stuff too. Tomorrow I have my other channel called Shedding Mysticism. Sorry I didn't have it in the link here in the description, but Shedding Mysticism, 8 p.m. on Sunday nights, Eastern Standard Time. And I will be discussing, yeah, that's me, all right, discussing the nature of truth. And I'll do a short reading like I usually do with descriptions and things like that. And I want an open discussion, people coming in, giving their opinions, true, not true, whatever topic that I have for that week. And I suggest getting new topics, bring them to me, and then we can have just a roundtable discussion and come together a little bit more across belief systems or whatever. So we need to start getting along, as human beings, and screw politics and everything else. So that's what I got. And thanks for watching the Harmonica Man. Come back every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. I'll usually have another guest on here. Enjoy my videos. It is Black History Month. I've got some more there, and I got a contest going on. Go back and check my videos. I have a contest to win this Seidel harmonica. It's a blues bender. And I have another friend in Australia. His name is Warren. I made a short video. Go to his channel, sub. He's starting over. A troll basically ruined his entire platform. So being in the community, we help each other out and everything, and sub and like and all that stuff. So, but okay, gang, I'm gonna stop bullshitting you now. As always, remember,